Okay, already explained some of the questions, important questions asked in the previous exam question papers. Okay, I already explained about recursive algorithms for binary search and also its efficiency. Pseudocode conventions explained in the previous class. Now, what is space complexity? Illustrate with an example for fixed and variable part in space complexity. What is time complexity? Another question based on time complexity. So we have the important concepts, that is space complexity and time complexity. Okay, we will see these questions, the answers for these questions. So I already explained the recursive algorithm for binary search and the time complexity of the binary search algorithm. Now, what is time complexity? Explain the different methods of finding the time complexity with examples. First of all, what is a time complexity? Already you know about time complexity. That is, time complexity means how much amount of time is required for running an algorithm. So for any different problem, there can be n number of solutions. So if I have a problem and discuss about the problem with all of my friends, they will all suggest me different solutions. And I am the one who has to decide which solution is the best based on the circumstances. That means, suppose I am having some problem. Okay, anyone is having some problem. For this, how to solve this problem? Always you will some. If it is a simple problem, you can easily solve that particular problem. If it is a complex problem, then it is not possible to solve by only one. Then in that case, you need to discuss with your friends and find out different solutions for solving this problem. So out of these many solutions, to find out of these many solutions, you need to find one best solution, and you will apply that particular solution to solve the problem. So for any problem, there are many number of solutions. In the same way, in our computer science also, there are problems. So for these problems, there are many number of solutions. So how to find the best solution to apply on the problem, solving of problem. So similarly, for any problem which must be solved using a program, there can be infinite number of solutions. For a program, there are infinite number of solutions for a problem. Let us take a simple example to understand this. Below we have two different algorithms to find square of a number for some time. Forget that square of any number n is n into n. So one solution to this problem can be running a loop for n times. We are running the loop for n times, starting with the number n and adding n to it every time. Suppose you want to find 2, 2 square. What you will do? You can repeatedly add 2 times. Suppose you want to find 4 square. 4 into 4. 4 into 4 means instead of doing directly, there is a one solution. That means add 4 repeatedly 4 times. Then we will get the same answer. 4 into 4, 16. So in this case, so calculate the square of n. So here you are using one for loop and you are repeatedly adding the value n times. Repeatedly adding the n times. Suppose you are for I equal to 1. Okay, do n equal to n plus n. Suppose n is 4. You want to find 4 square. So 4 plus 4. One time it is repeated. Again repeat. So 4 times you will repeat to add 4 with 4. Then you will get the 4 square. So when the loop ends on n will hold its square. So return n. This is one way of finding the 4 square. That means to find the 4 square, you are repeatedly adding 4 with 4 4 times. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 like this. Okay, we can simply use a mathematical operator star to find the square. Suppose you want to find 4 square. So simply you can multiply 4 with 4. Then you will get the square of 4. So in the example, two simple algorithms, we saw how a single problem can have many solutions. How a single problem can have many solutions, while the first solution required a loop which will execute for n number of times. We have used the for loop. In the second solution, used a mathematical operator, multiplication operator, that is star, to return the result in one line. So which one is the better approach? Of course, the second one. So we have two approaches to solve the problem of n square. One approach is adding the n number of times repeated. That means n number of times we are adding the n. Second approach is by using the multiplication operator, we are multiplying n with n. So after these two, which one is the best one? Simply you are multiplying n with n. That is enough. Instead of using the for loop and repeating n number of times, adding, all these things are taking more time. So finally, what is time complexity? So the total time required by the program to run till its completion, till the completion of the program, what is the total time required? Based on that, we have the time complexity. For any algorithm, how much amount of time is needed, that is estimated time is needed to run that particular algorithm, is the time complexity. We are generally expressing the time complexity as big O notation. Already you know, in our asymptotic notations, we have big O notation, big theta notation, big omega notation. So time complexity is most commonly estimated by counting the number of elementary steps performed by any algorithm to finish its execution. How many number of elementary steps we want to count. So based on that, we can say this is the time complexity. So for the first code, the loop will run. See, in the previous example, we discussed for loop. So the for loop will run n number of times. So the time complexity will be n at least, or as the value of n will increase, the time taken will also increase. That means if you increase the size of the input, the number n, then the time taken to run that particular algorithm also will be high. Now for the second code, time complexity is constant. Since we multiplied n with n directly in the previous code, so the time complexity is constant because it will never dependent on the value of n. It will always gives the result in one step. That means 4 into 4, just one step, or 10 into 10, n into n. That is one step, single step. We are not using any for loop. But when you use for loop, it takes n number of steps. So big O of n, that one. So since the algorithm's performance may vary with the different types of input data, hence for an algorithm, we usually use the worst case time complexity of an algorithm because that is the maximum time taken for any input size. See, already we have three cases: best case, worst case, average case. Best case takes less time comparing with worst case. Worst case takes more time generally. Suppose an array is given. Uh, you want to search for an element. Suppose you want to search for an element, that particular element is at the A of 0, first position. Then how much time will be taken? Just simply, directly in linear search, that particular A of 0 element you can find easily at the first step. So you can, the best case is only 1. That means in the best case, that is the best case. Suppose you want to find an element in the array which is at the last, at, at, at the n minus 1 index. See, array elements you are representing starting from 0 to up to n minus 1. There are n number of elements in the array. Suppose at the last element, the required element is there. At the last index, the required element is there. What will you do? You need to, in the linear search, you need to compare each and every element. So there are n number of comparisons are there to reach the last element and to find the last element. That is the worst case. So to find the last element in an array in linear search, it takes O of n time. N number of comparisons are needed. Whereas to find the first element in the array, it takes only O of 1, first element. You can easily find. So that means that time complexity, we have best case and worst case. So worst case is n, that is the maximum time taken. Now let us tap onto the next big topic, that is related to time complexity. How to calculate the time complexity? So now the most common metric for calculating the time complexity is big O notation. Already you know we have the big O notation represented for worst case time complexity. So we are always using the big O notation. This removes all constant factors so that the running time can be estimated in relation to n. As n approaches infinity, so you can think of it like this. Statement is there. Above, we have a single statement. So its time complexity will be constant. Suppose if it is 1, so it is time complexity big O of 1. That is a constant one. The running time of the statement will not change in relation to n. Suppose in our example, we are using the for loop. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. In the for loop, we are using the statement. So the time complexity for this algorithm will be linear, since the running time of the loop is directly proportional to n. When n doubles, so does the running time. So linear means that is a O of n. Only for loop is repeated some number of times, the statement is executed. N number of times the for loop is repeated, or n plus 1 number of times the for loop is repeated. So the time taken is O of n. See this one. Two for loops we are using, and there is a statement inside it. Two for loops means this for loop, first for loop, is repeated n plus 1 number of times. Why n plus 1 number of times? Since there is a condition checking is there, I less than n. We are checking the condition. In that, we are repeating n times. At the last case, we are checking the condition. If it is false, then you will not enter into the loop. For the last case, it is plus 1. So n number of times you are repeating, it will be repeated and the inner statements will be executed. But at the last case, that is checking the condition, it will take one more step. So n plus 1 number of times this for loop will be executed. Another for loop is there. Okay, this is also n plus 1 times. Our inner statements will be executed n times. Okay. So that this time, the time complexity of the above code will be quadratic. So this is a quadratic. Since we are using the two for loops, first for loop is n times, second for loop for n times, we will execute the inner statement. So n into n, that is n square. So will be quadratic. The running time of the two loops is proportional to square of n. So n doubles, the running time increases by n into n. Now see this while loop, we are checking the condition low is less than or equal to high. So mid is low plus high by 2. You want to find the middle element in the array. So if target is less than list of mid, if it is less than the middle element, then high equal to mid minus 1. Else if target greater than list of mid, if the target, the required element, target means the required element you want to search in the by using the binary search. So if it is greater than the middle element, then low is equal to mid plus 1. That means you are searching if the middle element and target you are comparing. If the target is greater than the middle element, then you need to search in the right half. If the target is less than the middle element, then you need to search in the left half. So in the binary search, already you know how you are finding the or searching the element. So to break a set of numbers into halves, to search a particular field, we will study this. So now this algorithm will have a logarithmic time complexity. The running time of the algorithm is proportional to the number of times n can be divided by 2. Since each and every time we are taking the half of the array and we are finding the middle element, again we are taking the half of the array. In this way, we are going. So always n becomes n by 2, n by 2 becomes n by 4, n by 4 becomes n by 8, that is n by 2 cube, n by 2 cube becomes n by 2 power 4. Like this, we are dividing into two halves each and every time. So the searching elements list can be reduced to half. Now see the quick sort. In the quick sort, we are using the pivot element and we are partitioning the entire list into two parts. So we have the list left part and right part. So in the quick sort, left part, you can consider list left pivot minus 1. In the quick sort, right part is pivot plus 1, comma right. So we are dividing the entire list by using the pivot element. The position of the pivot element, we are partitioning the entire list of elements in the quick sort. So this is a divide and conquer strategy following. So a small logic of quick sort. In quick sort, we divide the list into halves each time, but we repeat the iteration n times. N is the size of the list. Time complexity will be order of n log n. So the running time consists of n loops that are logarithmic. Thus, the algorithm is a combination of linear and logarithmic. Why you are saying linear and logarithmic? Since n is a linear case, log of n is a logarithmic case. So, linear logarithmic means it is a n log n time complexity. That is why we are saying linear logarithmic. When you say dividing the working area into half is logarithmic. Since we are dividing the given list of elements into two partitions, again dividing into another two partitions. Like this, we are dividing. So this is a logarithmic. In the time complexity, we are using the big O notation. What is big O? Fewer than are the same as expression iterations. So in the big O notation, we are using this one like this. So big omega more than are the same as expression iterations. So more than this, we are using big omega. Big theta is same as expression iterations. So we have little omega also. That is a fewer than expression iterations, more than expression iterations. So time complexity, O of expression, is a set of functions that grow slower than or at the same rate as the expression. Whether they grow at a slower rate or in the same rate with the given expression. That is big O of expression we are taking. It indicates the maximum required by an algorithm for all input values. It represents the worst case of an algorithm's time complexity. In the algorithm's time complexity, we are taking the worst case that is a that comes under big O expressions. So omega expression already explained and theta expression is also already explained. Now see the algorithm that takes f of n operations. Suppose an algorithm that takes 3 multiplied by n square plus 2 multiplied by n plus 4. This is the time complexity. Since this polynomial grows at the same rate as n square, since highest power we need to consider. Out of n square, n, what is the highest power? N square is the highest power. And constants we need not consider. So 3 multiplied, here 2 multiplied. These constants we are not taking into account. So then you could say that the function f lies in the set theta of n square. So that is also in the big O of n square and omega of n square. So in this case, depending on the polynomial expression, so highest power will be considered. Okay. Next question. What do you mean by performance analysis? Give the algorithm for matrix multiplication and find the time complexity of the algorithm using the step count method. So what do you mean by performance analysis? Next, algorithm for matrix multiplication. This is the question asked in the previous exam question papers since last year. Okay, performance analysis of an algorithm. What is the meaning of performance analysis of an algorithm? That is the performance of the algorithm. What is the running time? What is the space required for an algorithm? These points to be considered. So important factors are amount of memory used and the amount of compute time consumed on any CPU. Formally, they are notified as complexities in terms of space complexity and time complexity. సో పెర్ఫార్మెన్స్ అనాలిసిస్ ఆఫ్ అల్గరిథం అంటే ఏంటి? ఆ అల్గరిథం యొక్క పెర్ఫార్మెన్స్ ఏంటి, దాన్ని మనం ఎనలైజ్ చేయాలి. ఎనలైజ్ చేయడానికి ఏం చేస్తాం? స్పేస్ కాంప్లెక్సిటీ, టైం కాంప్లెక్సిటీ తీసుకుంటాం. స్పేస్ కాంప్లెక్సిటీ అంటే ఏంటి? ఏదైనా ఒక అల్గరిథం రన్ చేయడానికి, ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయడానికి ఎంత టైం తీసుకుంటుంది, ఎంత మెమరీ తీసుకుంటుంది, హౌ మచ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ మెమరీ. టైం కాంప్లెక్సిటీ అంటే ఏంటి? హౌ మచ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ CPU time is needed. That is time complexity. So the space complexity and time complexity. Already discussed these things. Again, we can do the revision for clear understanding of space complexity and time complexity. So space complexity of an algorithm is the amount of memory it needs to run to completion, that is from start of execution to its termination. So space needed by any algorithm is the sum of the following components. So what is space complexity? How much amount of memory needed to run a program to an algorithm. Okay. The space complexity of an algorithm is the amount of memory it needs to run. Okay, in this case, we have two components. First one is fixed component, second one is variable component. Fixed means we have the constant values, all these things. This is independent of the characteristics of the inputs and outputs. It does not depend on the input, either input or the output. This part includes instruction space, space of simple variables, fixed size component variables, and constants variables. So fixed component means what are the important points to be considered? The space required for instructions, the space required for variables, space required for fixed size component variables, and space required for constants. These are the fixed components. Now variable components. Variable means always changing the amount of memory required. So this consists of the space needed by component variables whose size is dependent on the particular problem instances, that is inputs or outputs. Instances means we are giving the inputs, whatever inputs we are giving. Based on that, we have the size requirement. So being solved, particular problem instances being solved. Okay, the space needed by reference variables. When you consider this one, we have the space needed by reference variables comes under variable type, and the recursion stack space, since stack may grow or shrinking or growing of a stack. So the stack recursion, that means space means we are maintaining a stack. In that stack, we are pushing the information related to procedures. This stack can grow or can reduce, changing. That is why it is a variable component. It is one of the most prominent components. So also this included the data structure components like linked list, heap, trees, graphs. All these things comes under variable component. So we have fixed component and variable component when you want to find the space complexity, that is the amount of memory required to execute an algorithm. So therefore, the total space requirement of any algorithm A can be provided as space of A is equals to fixed components of A plus variable components of A. So already discussed what is a fixed component and what is a variable component. So now you are combining the amount of space required for fixed components of the algorithm and the amount of space required for variable components of the algorithm. Total together is the space requirement for an algorithm. So among both fixed and variable components, the variable part is important to be determined accurately. Since variable part ante always changing, so that is important to find so that the actual space requirement can be identified for an algorithm A. So to identify the space complexity of any algorithm, we can consider the steps. So what are the steps to find the space complexity? Determine the variables which are instantiated by some default values. We want to find the variables. Determine the which instance characteristics should be used to measure the space requirement, and this is will be a problem specific. Which instance characteristics should be used to measure the space requirement. Now generally the choices are limited to quantities related to the number and magnitudes of the inputs to and outputs from the algorithms. So what type of input we are giving, what is the size of the input, what is the magnitude of the input. So these things are also to be considered, and what type of output you will get. So these things also will be considered. Sometimes more complex measures of the interrelationships among the data items can be used. So among the data items, there are different types of data. So we are considering the interrelationships, relationship between one type of data to another type of data. So space complexity. So consider this example. We have an algorithm, some number comma size. Sum of all numbers provided in number list. So this is the procedure used to find the sum of all numbers. Sum of all numbers, given numbers. Suppose result is equals to 0.0. That means initially you are taking result as 0. Now we are using the count, variable count. 1 to size. That means number of size indicates number. How many number? Do. From 1 to size, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to size items, we want to repeat this for loop. Now result is equals to result plus number of count. Now find the return result and return the result. Now see this example. This algorithm is mainly for finding the sum of all numbers. Now calculate the space complexity. We need to consider fixed component and variable component. So fixed components as result, count, size, variable. There for total space required is 3 words. Since we are using the result, count, size. There are three variables in our algorithm or program. Result is one variable, size is another variable. Okay, we have the count is another variable. Now see the variable components is characterized as the value stored in size variable. Value stored in variable size is equals to n, because this will decide the size of number list and will also drive the for loop. Therefore, if the space required by size is one word, then the total space required by number variable will be n, value stored in variable size. So therefore, the space complexity, finally the space complexity is 3 plus n. What is 3? This indicates fixed size. We have 3 variables: size. See, 3 variables are size, result, and count. Okay, n indicates for, we are using the for loop, and size is n. So total space is fixed size plus variable, that is 3 plus n. So total space required by the algorithm sum. Now what is the time complexity in this case? Time complexity of an algorithm is the amount of computer time it needs to run to completion. The time needed by algorithm. So the time taken by a program is the sum of the compile time and the execution time. Compile time is independent of the instance characteristics. That means whatever input we are giving, those inputs to a particular problem are specific. So those inputs you are giving, that is independent of the compile time, is independent of the inputs you are giving to the particular algorithm. So following factors affect the time complexity. The characteristics of compiler used to compile the program. So what is the compiler? What type of compiler we are using? Another one is computer machine on which the program is executed and physically clocked. Next one is multi-user execution system and number of program steps. How many number of steps are needed in the program? Again, we can consider the time complexity with fixed and variable parts. Fixed part factor 1 only, and the variable part you can consider the 3 factors. So in the fixed part we have the characteristics of the compiler. In the variable part we have the computer machine, we have the multi-user execution, and number of program steps. So finally we have the time complexity as fixed time for the algorithm, instance time of the algorithm. A indicates algorithm. Here the number of steps is the most prominent instance characteristics, and the number of steps any program statement is assigned depends on the kinds of statement, like comments count as 0 steps. So here the number of steps is the most important one. Consider the case that the assignment statement you can consider as a one step. Assignment statement is a one step. Suppose iterative statements, step counts only for the control part of the statement. That means we are using the for loop, while loop, do while loop as iterative statements. Then the amount of time needed, number of times it is repeated, that is the time. So consider the procedure for the time complexity. So what is the total number of steps considered by each one? First, determine the number of steps per execution of the statement and the frequency of each statement executed. Suppose when you consider in this example, algorithm sum, that is a just declaration of the algorithm. So only 0 steps. Now result equal to 0.0. That is another statement that requires one step. That is a assignment operation. Assignment operation we can consider as a one step. For count equal to 1 to size do. So we are using the for loop. For loop requires n plus 1 frequency. So that is size plus 1 times it will be repeated. Now result equal to result plus number of count. That is inside statement of the for loop. So in the inside statement of the for loop, it takes size times. So finally return result, that is a single step. So you can take, now you can count total, that is 2 times size plus 3 steps are the time, that is the time complexity based on the frequency count. Frequency of per count equal to 1 to size do, it is size plus 1. This is because the statement will be executed one time. Okay, this is about time complexity. Already explained in the previous class also. Now I want to explain the examples for step count. How to calculate the step count. See the step count method, we will see now. So in the analysis of algorithms using step count method, time and space complexity are calculated using the step count method. By using the step count method, you can calculate the what is the time required, what is the amount of memory required for an algorithm. See, there is no count for AND operator. AND. So we are not counting this one. Each basic statement like assignments and return statement, we are counting as 1. Suppose there is an assignment statement, take 1. There is a return statement, take 1. The count as 1. If a basic statement is iterated, then multiply by the number of times the loop is run. Suppose in the for loop, that is iterated. How many number of times it is iterated? That you can take that one as a step count. Suppose the loop statement is iterated n times for loop. It has a count of n plus 1. It has a count of so loop statement is iterated n times. It has a count of n plus 1. We can take for a loop statement as n plus 1. Here the loop runs n times for the true case and a check is performed for the loop exit, the false condition, hence the addition 1 in the count. So loop statement is iterated n plus 1 times. Why? Since we are executing the loop n times. Okay, n. Then at the last check, we are checking the false condition. At the false condition, last step, that is one time. So n plus 1 time is the total times that is required for loop statement iteration. See this example, very important examples. So two examples we can see. So adding of two matrices of order m and n, we want to add. Okay, in this example of for step count calculation, sum of elements in an array. Algorithm sum, we are using the sum. A comma n indicates A is the array of the list of elements, array which consists of list of elements. N is the number of elements. Now see the step count. Step count for time complexity. Sum equal to 0. It is 0. Suppose first one algorithm sum that takes only 0 step. Time complexity is 0. Sum equal to 0. We are assigning 0. Assignment step 1 count. Count is 1. Okay, next for loop. N times it is repeating. So n plus 1 count. Inside statement of the for loop, that will be repeated n times. So n is the count. Return sum. Return sum is a count is 1. So finally, we can check the total. So 2n plus 3 is the total count. Time complexity. Now see the space complexity. In space complexity, we are taking sum equal to 0. That is one step. One word for sum. We are using the for loop. Okay, in the for loop statement, we can take one word each for I and n. Now sum equal to sum plus a of I. That particular statement will be executed n times. So n words for the array A. Now return sum. Okay, that is one statement. So total n plus 3 words. Now see the another example. We want to add two matrices of order m and n. There are two matrices of order m and n. Now we want to add. So for this, we are using the algorithm add of ABC, m, n. M and n gives the order of the matrix ABC are the three matrices. A and B are the two matrices we want to add. This A and B, you will get the, and the total or the result you can store in C. Okay, what is the step count of this one? Calculate the step count for adding of two matrices. Just check it. This is very important. For I equal to 1 to m, we are repeating the for loop. So we are using the for loop. That means m times we are repeating. So m plus 1 is the step count. Now see the next for loop. For j equal to 1 to n, do. If suppose in the outer for loop, I equal to 1 means the inner for loop will be repeated n times. Okay. So inner for loop for j equal to 1 to n, it will be repeated n plus 1 times, and it is also repeated m times. Since outer for loop 1 to m is there, so inner for loop will be repeated m times n plus 1 times. M into n plus 1 times. Now see the addition step. C of I comma j is equal to A of I comma j plus B of I comma j. This addition step takes mn times. Since outer for loop is m times, inner for loop n times. So total count of inner statement, that is C of ij, that will take equal to, that will take m into n times. So mn is the step count. So what is the total step count? Total number of steps m plus 1 plus m into n plus 1 plus mn. That is equals to 2mn plus 2m plus 2. So first for loop is executed m plus 1 times. First m calls are true calls during which the inner loop is executed, and the last call m plus 1th call is a false call. That is, we have false call means we are checking the condition, but it is false. That is a false call. So in this way, you can consider, you can try for matrix multiplication. Already you know the algorithm for matrix multiplication. Okay, this is the algorithm for matrix multiplication. By using this algorithm, you can perform the multiplication operation, and you can find the step count and time complexity. You will get big O of n cube for this one. You can try this one. Okay. Thank you, dear students, all of you. If anyone is having any doubt, you can do the message to me. We can discuss the subject. I will clarify the subject. Any doubts? Okay, thank you. All of you can leave. Now the class is completed. Thank you, students.